So I got this new clock. I don't really even know what kind it is. I just liked it and bid on it and won, and it got here today. Box is like 3 feet tall. And we're going to see what's in this box. They put a box over another box, so I'll cut all that loose. There's one place where the box is damaged, and I can feel something right there. So, hopefully they didn't break my clock. So that looks like part of the trim of the clock. Let's see. Let me get this top box off. Well, they put a lot of paper on the top. Apparently not around the side. Wow, pretty big. It's, I think, 35 inches and that's without the topper. There's the hole. So it's the corner of the clock. Yep, they busted the corner of the clock off. Lovely. That's the top. This is the bottom. So let me get it out of this box and unwrap the bubble paper and see what we got. Okay, it's out of the box. I have peeled all the tape off the bubble wrap. I haven't looked at it at all. You're looking at it at the same time I am. First time. It is a German clock. I don't know the maker. This is the corner they busted up right there. It's off. Oh yeah, nicely busted. The whole front's off. It used to be attached in the pictures. So we will have some repair work to do. But it looks like the rest of it came through okay. I just got to figure out where they put the pendulum, because it was included. Yeah, the entire top's busted off because they set it on the top. So all the weight was on this trim. Lovely. But it looks like it was just glued everywhere. And other than the damage to the wood right there, it looks okay, I guess. Alright, so anyway, it's a swinger clock, I think they call it. Free swinger, maybe. I don't know, I'm going to have to look it up because the pendulum's in here and it's kind of in these columns, and inside this little thing here swings down in there. So, oh, that's interesting. That came off too. Shipping does not do good things for these 150-year-old clocks. I liked the fact that when I looked at it online, it had both of these little guys that once you get it level on the wall, you smash that into the wall and it holds it level, so that when you wind it, it stays level. And there's, oh my gosh, that pendulum's massive. It didn't look that big in the pictures. The door's not going to open because of the damaged top. Has original hands. I don't think it has a key. And they did not even try to do anything with this pendulum. They just stood it on its head and shipped it. So I'm hoping it didn't tear up anything in the clock. There's no way to hang that pendulum. It's just flat on the top. That's interesting. But anyway, it's as big as my hand. That's a big old pendulum. It does have a rating nut. And I have no idea who made this clock. So we're going to discover all that together. It's got a lot of neat little details. Everything on it was intact before they shipped it. All the detail. was intact. It had everything except a topper. So, it looks like I might be able to just slide this whole thing out. Yes, I can. That's good. And there's our gong system. And let's see if there's any markings on this clock. It looks like, I have no idea, Silesia GB. It is a Gustav Becker. I was hoping it was, but I wasn't sure. Cool beans. I got a Gustav Becker. I was hoping to get one. Alright, y'all see that? I'll try to move it to the side. It's got the little anchor and a GB at the top of the anchor, and Silesia. I don't know if that's the model of this clock or where it was made or what. I'll have to do a little research. But that's really exciting. I got a pretty intact Gustav Becker for about 1/4 of what they're going for online. So that's exciting. Alright, we'll get into this some more tomorrow. We just got in town from a trip, and I just had to look at it and see, and that's really exciting. I wouldn't have cared if it was Mauthe or whoever it was, but that's even more exciting that I got somebody I didn't even think I got. Thanks for watching. Let's see if it makes any gong sound. I don't hear it trying to do anything on the half hour. Nope. Not lying down, it doesn't anyway. I oiled it just to see what it would do. It's pretty dirty. I'm going to have to clean it, but you can see it's ticking, hands moving. Ticking really fast because there's no pendulum on it. And the gong is pretty sticky. Let me see if I can hold this and make the gong go off without knocking it over. Giving it a warning. It really echoes and resonates well. That's with the door open. So that was 12. So obviously the hands are in the right place. It's been tripped a few times with me messing with the back of it. And here's the top of the case. This is where the little thing is supposed to sit, the crown on top. I don't have one, but I have ordered one. And the back hanger is kind of interesting, because when I got it, it was like that. So it's made where you can adjust it. Like you could lay this flat if you needed to by pushing that out of the way, because this screws permanently in, and then this one slides up and down to lock in place to hang it on the wall. I've done a little research on Gustav Becker and his company, and I'm hoping there's a serial number on the back. Turning it around here. Let's take a look at the back. Not seeing any kind of number. Said a lot of times on the cases on the back there would be a serial number, and that's how you could date it. but I'm not seeing anything. So I'm happy that it's ticking just from me oiling it. That's pretty cool. Let's get working on this thing. I just finished cleaning up the case. I just did the Howard feed and wax on it. I debated on washing it with some of the Murphy's oil soap that you clean wood with, because it was so, the wood was so dirty. Like the glass was brown. You couldn't even see through it. So at least you can see through the glass now. I just did Windex on it and oiled everything. I took the back door, whole back door off, 6 screws, and took the gong off, cleaned it up, got the rust, had a little bit of rust on it, cleaned it up, cleaned the brass up a little bit. So overall it came out pretty nice, looking more like it should. And the movement's just been sitting here ticking for a couple days. I just propped it up here on its seat board to see if it would run after I oiled it. And it's still, every once in a while, that was 1, it should have been 9. Like it's off. Every once in a while it misses a strike, so I do need to take it apart and clean it. If I can trip it. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. That's not bad. It's missed one time. It did this 8:30 at the 9 o'clock. It's missed striking one time in the last day or two. So that's not bad. I found a key that fits it, and I cleaned up the pendulum. It came out nice, and I'm going to show you this funky top to this thing. I've had to order a piece that's coming from Lithuania, if it's not a scam, and it actually holds this. The top part of the pendulum leader wire is not on here, so I'll show you that when it comes. But this just came. I just cut the tape on it, so let us see how this is going to work out. This is a topper that I ordered, an unfinished one that someone made. Hang on, let me get the tape off. It really smells smoky. Mark, don't smoke around your clocks. They absorb the smell. There's my new topper. I've got to stain it and finish it somehow, but I thought it looked pretty much like what would fit on this clock. It's even got the little thingy that sticks in, like so. I'll have to thin it down. It won't fit in that crack quite right, but that's how it's going to look. I think that'll work. I've got the ultrasound solution heating up, so I guess I'm finally ready to take this clock apart and see what it needs besides the cleaning. Maybe bushings, I don't know. I didn't get any little pans to put things in. Let's see, where are my little pans? Alright, a pin, a little domed washer, or is that 2? No, that's 1. There's the hand. It's in pretty nice shape. A little bit bent right here, looks like is all. So I can straighten that back out. There's the hour hand. Looks pretty straight. So the minute hand looks like it has a round hole, but then it has a little bushing in it that's got a square hole. So you could potentially slide this to get it right on the minute. So that's nice. You don't have to dink around with how it falls off. You can just turn this little bushing in the middle. Alright, let's take it off of this thing. There's still dead bugs hanging on it, spider webs and everything. And this just screws into part of the clock. But it's got this leeway so that you can center it in the hole behind the dial. More dead bugs and dust bunnies sticking everywhere. Alright, so it looks like 1, 2, 3 big pins. Every time I shake it, more bugs fall out. A huge dead grasshopper came in it. Like, there's been so many bugs in this thing. It's amazing. Let's see if this one wants to come out. I don't know why. The other two are straight. This one is bent for some reason. So I don't know if it's going to want to come out. It looks like maybe somebody took a nail and put in there. That seems to be coming out. Definitely not a regular taper pin. Looks like the same thing, just bent. Alright, and this one up this way. Okay, so I can lift it off the face, hopefully. There. A few more cobwebs, dead bugs. I'm not really sure what that is. It's got a little brass insert there. The dial, I think, is paper. Feels like. And this should be brass. It should clean up pretty nicely. One, two, three little pinned things. They look like maybe they kind of like a oh, I can't think of the name of it. Like what you used to use with paper, you'd put this little brass thing through and bend the feet wide, or like a manila envelope on the back, the little things go through and you bend them flat. It's got two ends right there bent over, so it looks like that pin goes in and then bends flat to hold it to the dial pan, in case we need to take it off, but I don't think we need to take it off. I think it will clean up just fine with it still attached. So one thing about Gustav Becker, they are known for their well-made movements. The plates are really thick. I like this little feature on here. It goes back and forth in there. Your pendulum can only swing so far. It's going to hit on the insides of that. So it can't like overswing and hit the inside of your case, break glass, or bend a tooth on your escapement wheel. It's not going to let it go to that extreme if somebody carried it with a pendulum on. This is a suspension spring I put on there because the one that was on it was broken. When I was going through the bubble wrap and taking all the tape off of it and looking for anything that might be down in there, I was lucky enough to find the bottom half of this original suspension spring, and it was totally broken in half. If you look, you can see daylight in between where it's broken there and broke up here. And what I did was I opened up this brass, took both ends, took the little silver part out of the middle, and I laid it on the little cellophane part of an envelope that we had gotten in the mail. The little clear plastic part where you can see the address through it on the paper behind it. I took that cellophane, I laid it down, I laid this silver suspension spring on it, poured super glue on it, folded over the cellophane, and made basically a little wrap for the entire thing. When it hardened, I cut it out, shaped it, and stuck it back in there. Tapped the brass little pins back down tight to hold them shut, and I now have the original suspension spring back in there, which is nice because it fits under this arm. That other one that I had was huge. And let me see if I can show you what actually hangs on that. Hang on. So this is the pendulum leader that I ordered that's supposed to be coming in the mail. The little hook end right here goes on your suspension spring, and then it's got this little folded in area at the bottom that holds this little triangular shaped piece at the top. So this part slides in right here, and I found one online and it wasn't very expensive, $9. It's going to cost an arm and a leg to ship it with import taxes and stuff. I don't know how much it's going to end up being, but I needed that piece, so hopefully it's going to be coming soon. Okay, well, that didn't last long. I just tried to pull it out of there and it broke in half. Okay, well, anyway, I've ordered some from Time Savers. There's no hurry on them getting here because I don't have anything to hang on them, because that piece hasn't come yet. But let's work on this. I'm going to get these springs let down. So there are two little arms that come out under here to trip this up in the air. So this whole little thing pushes that up to start your strike sequence. When it's pushed up, I don't know why it's not turning. I don't know what keeps it from turning when it's pushed up, because I only see one warning pin and I don't see it touching anything. Maybe this, let's see. Nope, that's what lifts your count lever out. So this arm does a lot of stuff. It lets it go into warning, and it also, this fork of it pushes your count lever up out of your count wheel. And when it drops down, the only shut off that I know of is the count lever drops down far enough into the hole, like right now, falling into a gap, and that lets this fall down some, and your warning pin hits. Oh, the warning pin hits this thing. So the thing that stops it, the stop lever that the warning pin hits, is on the end of your rack. So when your rack falls down, this falls in front of the warning pin on the wheel, and that stops the whole strike sequence. So if I lift it again, that contacts here, push it up slightly, went into warning, and I want to see the warning pin if I can. Yeah, it's just sitting off over by itself. It's not touching anything. Oh, there's another one. Okay, there's two. Got it now. I saw it as it was spun by. This one has one on it. Right there. Little one right there that hits this when it goes up in the air and keeps it from spinning. And then when it stops, the one on the next wheel down hits this on the inside. So it hits the inside of that one. And let's see where it hits on this one. It hits the right hand side of the top one. So that's just telling me stuff when I put it back together, what I need to set up. It doesn't look like there's much to set up to get it in sequence. But I'm going to take some pictures. Alright, let's see about letting the springs down. I think I got one that fits it. Doesn't fit on it as nice as I would like. Fits this one better. I love when they have these little clicks with the levers on them. They're just so easy to engage and disengage. Alright, springs are down. I guess I'm going to work on this. I guess I will take these two things off of the back. That way I can lay this down flat. And I want to try to mark where this is at the moment. I took a nail and made a little scratch on there. It's not very deep. Hopefully it's not going to wash off when I clean it, right? A lot of people want to use other stuff, Sharpies, or just figure it out again. I'm just making it a little bit easy for myself. Alright, no washers or anything, just little Phillister screws. And then this that holds your spring, and a very dirty little pivot hole. And then we can take the pallets out. So there's our pallets, there's our clutch system for the foot, and there's that cool little lever I was talking about that hits in there, won't let it swing too far. Cobwebs, cobwebs, cobwebs. The pallets have some built up oil with some lines in them of where the escapement wheels hit, but there's no grooves. They're smooth when I run my finger over them. So that's good. Let's see about getting this guy off of here. Yep, he's not wanting to come off. There we go. So there's our gong hammer. Very hard piece of leather in there. Now I think I can take this stuff off the front side. There's a little S wire right there holding this on, and same with the other one. So I can take both of these arms off by taking the little pins out of those. And then I'm going to take it apart from this side. So now that I've got that off, I don't need to raise it up. And let me get those pins off the back. Alright, those little curly cues are out on the back. So there's my levers. And the built up oil and crud shows you which side they hit on. One on one side, one on the other. So when it goes into warning, it hits up here. When it shuts off, it hits down here, if I remember right. Here's your other lever. And then in the center, there was a little wire pin through this arbor that I took out, and there's a little washer. And then this should lift out. Nope, not yet. Yeah, it is. There we go. So that's the mechanism. It's got a little weight on one end to help it fall back down. It lifts here to activate the other arm above it. This is my little click springs. And the clicks, let me get a bigger screwdriver. And they're in really good shape. They don't have any wear on them at all. They look great. Maybe a little bit on this one. Along the bottom edge, maybe. I don't know. It's clean down there. It's dirty up higher, so I'm guessing it's rubbing along the bottom edge. Alright, let's see. We got a little pin right here. I don't know which way it goes. Goes that way. And I put all my screws, all my pins, everything in the ultrasound in a little wire basket. One flat washer. That lets me take off my hour pipe. Intermediate wheel with a little built-in bushing, no spring under it. So that tells me probably on the back side of this is a spring. And there's, I've worked on one other clock that had the minute arbor with the sides cut out like this. And I thought that someone had worked on it and done it, but this one's the same way. You can see the center arbor right in the middle. They've sliced off each side of the minute pipe for some reason and made it thin right there. But you can see there's two little lift arms on it. One's not bigger than the other. They look the same to me. And I think that's going to have to, yep, good, it comes right off. I was going to say, I think that's going to have to come off for me to work on it, but it just pulled right off. So that was perfect. What else have we got? We got the other pivot over here. I need to score that. Because it looks like it's adjustable also. And I really don't want to spend days trying to find the right spot when it's obviously in the right spot right now. That. Got a little spring up here. I'm really having to push down hard to get these little screws out because they are in there tight. Alright, that is everything off the front except that screw which holds this little dealie right there. I don't know if it comes off if I take that out. I think I'm just going to leave it for now. And let's get these off. Let me get my sockets. There's not anything on this one side of the... It looks like somebody oiled it and the oil ran down. Yeah, I could have taken that one thing out there, but it looks like it's riveted here and here, so that wouldn't have done me any good. So that's going to all stay together. As I was saying, there's nothing on this side of the clock. So everything goes up the center that makes it run, and everything goes up the left that makes it strike. So that's interesting. Let me get another picture now that I got the top off. So something I saw on the NAWCC about this clock, it doesn't have lantern pinions. It has the leaf pinions, the cutout metal pinions. And so what I read was the Silesia, the name that's on this one, they stopped putting that on there in 1925. Someone on NAWCC said this is the Amerikaner movement, the shape of the plate and everything, with the leaf pinion instead of the lantern pinion. They started that in 1906. So my clock is somewhere between 1906 and 1925. So random things can help you date your clock. That looks a little bit bent. Hope not, but we'll check it out when it's clean. Okay, so we're going to put all of this together as the time side. And we'll put all of this together as the strike side. So first wheel, second wheel, third wheel, fourth wheel. This is the fifth wheel that's got the warning pin on the top of it. I don't know if you can see it, it's pretty tiny. And then the fourth wheel is got the stop pin. So it uses two different things. One pin to go into warning, one pin to stop it, but they're on separate wheels. And the wheels are basically the same size. Nope, there's this one smaller. So wheels typically get smaller as they go towards the governor fan. So that tells me that's the fifth one, that's the fourth one. And then this third one is just spiky. Ooh, that's bent. Maybe that's why my thing doesn't always go off like it's supposed to. I've got one really bent tooth on this star wheel that makes the gong strike. I wonder why that is. We'll straighten that out. There's our count wheel lever. It's a double barrel jobby. That's pretty cool. Our fan. Very small pivots for this clock to be as heavy duty and thick plated as it is. These are tiny little pivots on here. Almost like an alarm clock size. Little bitty pivots. And there's my other spring. So we need to get these springs out so I can clean them. I can actually take these legs off and put these in my ultrasound. So that's what I was talking about, Silesia. That was the city that Gustav Becker set up shop in initially. And eventually, I'm trying to think what company bought them out, with about 3 other companies. HAC, Gustav Becker, another 1 or 2 youngins bought them out. And so they stopped producing here in Silesia. They shut the factory down. But this is a P48 movement, which tells me the pendulum is 48 centimeters long. From where it hangs to the center of the bob should be 48 centimeters. And this has an S on it, and no one knows what that S is. It was not mentioned at all on the NAWCC post that I saw about these clocks. There's different letters that they mentioned, and one letter means that it's got the leaf pinions, not the lantern pinions, but they didn't mention this S at all. So, but most of the letters, they didn't know what it stood for. It stands for something on this movement. I don't know what. But anyway, I'm going to take these other 4 off, get these off, and put this through the ultrasound. I know just Mike will pop these out of there. I'm just not brave enough to do it. It's going to stay right in there. You can see how hard I'm hitting this, trying to pop this off of here. The other one, I was more successful doing this and just popping it off with my needle nose. And there's the little hole right there. There's a little dot right there on there. So that tells me where to line this up. It's very gunky and stuck on there. Got some grease on it. Alright, so then I take the key. Key doesn't want to fit on this one very good. Tighten it up. Start unwinding. Once I can get one spiral out, it will usually unwind for me in my hand pretty easily. Just don't trust this. This is not going on the shaft as far as I want, so I don't trust it to not pop on me. And then if you take this and turn it backwards, like you're unwinding it, it should let go of the spring and you can slide it out and clean all the grease out of this. And clean this, don't forget. So instead of beating it on wood, there's another option. Needle nose in the hole, popped right off of there very easily. I'll be back after I get these parts clean. Magic, everything's clean. Don't you wish it really happened like that? Instead of you having to go in there and scrub and clean. And this is straight out of the ultrasound. I haven't done anything to it, but put the legs back on, and remember to put the two with the holes at the bottom so you can mount it. Otherwise you'll be taking it all back apart again. And I still got them separated. This is my time side. This is my strike side. Here's my spring. A nice blued spring. It's nice and clean. I saved my old ultrasound solution in a big jar. It's actually a big giant size peanut butter jar. And you could use a mayonnaise jar or whatever you got. Just save your old solution. You can just dunk the springs in there and shake it around, put the lid on and shake it around, and it comes out nice and clean. You don't have to scrub on them a lot. I did go over them with a little green scratchy, but it came off perfectly clean. I dried them. I rinsed them after that, and then I always dunk all my stuff in rubbing alcohol because it forces the water from the cracks and little places that you might not get dry. And plus it helps prevent all these little water spots that get on them. So, dunk it in rubbing alcohol, then I took a paper towel and dried it. The paper towel was totally white. It didn't have any grease on it at all. Came out nice and clean. So I really like putting my springs in the ultrasound. A lot of people don't, and I don't know why, because they're the same material like as the arbors of everything. They're a hardened steel. They can clean up in the ultrasound, get all the old grease off. Anyway, so here's one that's clean. Here's one I've oiled. I've got this Keystone mainspring oil, and I usually just put it on something and kind of squirt some in the middle, and whatever runs through on my piece of paper there, I put it on my fingers and rub it around on the rest of it. So it's got a nice thin coat everywhere, and it's ready to wind up in the barrel. So I'm going to do that off camera. Y'all can look at other videos of how to put springs back in barrels. It's not hard. There's a tab there. There's a hole in the end of your spring. You catch it on there. You wind it in. Just make sure, look at your winding arbor first, and make sure that the end that goes through the small side, that you got the right end, that you don't have it backwards, because you need to make sure that the little tab that's going to catch your spring on the inside is which way it's going, and make sure the center of your spring is going that way. Like if I just picked this up and set it there and caught it on the tab, it would be backwards. I've got to flip it over to get the center catching on that. But put it in the barrel first, then put your thing in. One thing to check before you put it in the barrel, look at the center little hole. If it doesn't look very tight, if it got stretched out while you were taking your piece out of it, see, this side looks more stretched out than this side. When you look at it from this side, it's got a nice curly Q. Look at it from this side, it's a little stretched out. So it may, when I wind it, it may slip and come off. I've got a special pair of pliers that have a bend right here. They're concave right here. I can grab the inside of that spring and put a nice rounded place on it without putting any bends in it. You know, it just curls it tighter and makes it round. So I will probably put a little twist on that and make it tighter just to make sure I don't have a problem when I get it all back together. I have to take it back apart and take it back out of the barrel and tighten that up. So I'll meet you back in a minute when I get the barrels back loaded. Alrighty, greased the springs, oiled them back in the barrels. Looked at my pictures, got my main train in here, got my strike side in here. My pictures looked like that this 1, 2, 3, fourth wheel, the stop pin was just about even with the edge of the star on the third wheel that makes the gong work, and the gong lever was in an empty space, not touching one of the spikes, and the fifth wheel warning pin was about in circumference with the fourth wheel. So that's how I set it up. So we're gonna try it, put the lid on and see how it works, see if it shuts off. I've made a couple adjustments. I've opened it up a couple of times because I didn't like where this little lever was landing. When it landed in a hole, it was kind of on the half hour, it was kind of coming up on this, you know, like this, the notch that's leaving, it was kind of sticking up on the half hour. So I didn't move this, I moved the wheel next to it, the warning pin. I moved, the warning pin was not where I had wanted it, which was over this way. It was over this way when it was all put together, and so I was letting it turn all that way around until it hit on the back side of the lever right here. And so basically the stop pin needs to be at about 7 o'clock so that when this falls off into this hole, it turns just a tiny bit and hits on the back side of this. And then this warning pin ended up being too far, too close to this. I couldn't even tell when it went into warning because it only went like one tooth. So I opened it up one more time and I put the warning pin up here so that it turns a half a turn. The fan turns a half a turn. The wheel turns a little bit to get out of the deep groove when it goes into warning. So it's just, I've gone all the way around and made the adjustments. I just did 12 o'clock. So now I'm going to see if I get 12:30, 1, and 1:30. There's warning. 12:30 shuts off. One o'clock. $1:30. And see my lever that's in the deep groove is still down in the flat part. It was kind of riding up on the next tooth. So I think everything is lined up good, and this should be 2 o'clock right here. 1, 2, shut off. Okay, so I think it's ready to get the front pieces put back on. And I have this many parts left in my parts bin. So I'll get all this stuff back on and join you back again. Well, so it's so exciting to get it all lined up and everything's right, and then you wind a little bit, put a couple winds on, everything's turning nicely. You can check it from the side, make sure you don't have any bent wheels, everything's running like it's supposed to, and then you do the other side. And it doesn't want to wind right. It doesn't want to, even though it's not locked in a space, it doesn't want to keep going. So why is it not got power? It's kind of stiff to wind. It's like there's something in a bind in there. And I pulled up a video online. Just Mike has this same model of movement, and his plates on his barrels, the caps, when he first took it apart, the little extra bevel that's on the cap that I usually put on the inside, I put on the inside, and his were facing up. So I think I'm gonna have to, I don't know, I'm gonna have to open this back up I think I'm just going to flip both of these caps over. The cap with the little bevel pointing in is not affecting the time side at all, but it's got some kind of bind on the strike side, and it's not letting the spring work like it's supposed to. Like, it'll stop. Like right now, it's not even down in the tooth good. You can wind it and stop it partway on a click. Like, it's really in a bind. Look, it's right there on top of a click. And so that's just an accident waiting to happen. Springs need to work like they're supposed to. And if I put some more winds on it, yeah, it works for a little bit, but it still won't do like a whole complete cycle without me giving it some help. So the spring is not doing its job. And look, I can pull the click off. I can pull the click totally off the spring, and you watched me put some winds on it, right? So it should be like unwinding like crazy. It's not. So going to flip the caps. Let's see if that helps. I also just played back my own video to double check because I had a spare little washer and wasn't sure where it went on, and looked at the caps, and when I took this plate off, the little extra ring was pointed up. So I'm going to flip them both over, and that should fix my problem. Little details, man, make such a difference. Make it work or make it not work. So this is how I ended up getting the caps on it in the first place. The little cutout with the little dot right there. Press it down. It doesn't want to go on. I took 2 clamps. So I've got it holding it most of the way around, and then I just have to tap it right there with my trusty hammer to get that piece down. And it's all together. I'm finding these little clamps or a vise or something works really well to get the caps on if you're having trouble. I can't just press them on. I don't have enough strength most of the time unless they're really nicely symmetrical, but you can see that one's got a dent in it from being hammered on it from somebody. Don't hammer this ridge when you're trying to hammer the plate back on. Make sure you only hammer on the cap itself to pop it down, because if you bend the little bit of the lip in, you're really going to have trouble getting it on. But anyway, I'm going to flip the other one over now and get this put back together. So this is definitely a problem because I can't even get the cap off of this one. It is not wanting to leave that winding arbor. Okay, so I'm going to work on getting that off of there. Maybe it's at an angle, got it at a little bit of a bind, I don't know, but it does not want to come off. I think it is slowly coming up, so I'll get this off of here, get it turned around. Alright, I finally got it back where the strike was shut off the way I wanted, and got it back in there. Got a spot on the wall for it. That topper I stained with a red mahogany, and then put some... I'll wait till the grandfather clock's done. He's busy talking. It's noon. Got lots of striking to do. I used red mahogany to stain the topper, and I put Howard Feed and Wax on it so it doesn't have any kind of varnish or anything. It matches the original case pretty well. I've rigged up a pendulum until that one piece comes that I can use to put the original pendulum in. I'm sure it's going to run fast because this is like really short. The other pendulum probably needs to be clear down here. But it let me get it on the wall. When that thing's done, I'll make this go off and we can see what it sounds like. So overall, pretty pleased with it. Hopefully my piece is going to come and I can use my pendulum. Came out really good. I've looked online and looked online. I cannot find another one that's like this, that's got like a little box down here. Like the columns in the front and then a whole little shelf right here. They usually just have this and maybe some little pointy things. I like it a lot. It cleaned up really well. And it's right here by the front door. We'll look at it all the time. Thanks for watching. Leave me some comments. Let me know if you know what kind of clock this is called with the extra piece down here, or if you can have it in a clock catalog or something. That'd be nice to know. Anyway, leave me some comments.